What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Heat Chat podcast. Before we get into everything, make sure you are subscribed, hit that notification bell. This upload is coming a little bit late because our original filming got corrupted. The whole video file got corrupted, so I've had to deal with that. But we're still going to come with you because actually, at the time that we filmed that, some certain news wasn't broken out. But now we get to talk about that. But let's roll right into a action-packed week of Wild Card Weekend, starting off with our offensive and defensive players of the week. On the offensive side of the ball, putting up 131 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 receptions for 45 yards. I got to put Cam Akers up here. I see Offensive Player of the Weeks in the playoffs as not only you have to be on the winning team, and not only that, but it's not really about who has the best numbers that week. It's who had the biggest impact. And for a Rams team without Aaron Donald for like half the game and with Jared Goff with like half a hand, I feel like Cam Akers played the biggest part out of any other player during these playoffs this past week. And I got to give him my Offensive Player of the Week.
Yeah, I have the same view towards this stuff in the playoffs because if you don't win, I mean, there's no point of having a huge performance. Kind of like Juju, he had a really good day, but his team did not win. So I got to go with Cam Akers also. A really good performance on the ground, just like he did against the Patriots. The future's looking bright for him, and if he can continue this in the playoffs, this is going to be a good look for next season, especially for fantasy, and he's going to be a good back for the Rams. For sure.
And speaking of Juju, he's going to Corvette his way back home. Thank you, Cleveland Browns. That was the greatest thing I have ever seen in my life. And so I got to give it to MJ Stewart, a guy I've never heard of, but he was a shining star on that Cleveland Browns defense. He had himself 9 total tackles, all of them solo tackles, 1 tackle for a loss, 1 interception, and a pass defense. Definitely the greatest defensive performance out of any player this past week. What about you?
Yeah, I guess great minds think alike because I got him too. He had the most impact towards his team, just like Akers. I mean, we're just looking for who had the impact toward their team to let their team win in the playoffs. So he definitely did the best out of everyone this week. So I got to give it to him.
All right, and then let's roll right into what a lot of people call Black Monday in the NFL is when all the coaches get fired and a lot of guys start getting brought in. A lot of coaches got fired. We talked about Anthony Lynn and all those guys, but as well, Peterson had a little bit of a late Black Monday because he just didn't cut it. He just didn't cut it after the Super Bowl. And a lot of people do question it. They do think maybe it's the front office, the GM, how they put their talent together. I personally don't think so. I think Peterson was a part of the problem, but I do also think the GM is a big problem. But I have seen they have been looking at 2 big candidates, Lincoln Riley and Kellen Moore, Cowboys offensive coordinator, which that would be weird to see him leave after just signing an extension, but he does have the right to go out for an interview. If a head coaching job is what he desires in the NFL, then so be it. Then have fun over there in Philly because I don't see Philly coming out with Lincoln Riley. What Philly's future is going to be is very odd. How would you think Lincoln Riley being brought in and reuniting with Jalen Hurts, even though reports are coming out that Wentz might even stay in Philly? How do you think Lincoln Riley coming in would fare out for the Eagles?
I think it would be good because you need someone to help develop a young quarterback, and Doug Peterson obviously wasn't doing that because Jalen Hurts wasn't happy with his head coach. And if you're a young rookie quarterback like that, just getting the starting job, you need someone that you can rely on as a coach. And I'm sure nobody is happy with Peterson right now, and it's good that they got him out of there, and hopefully they can bring somebody like him in.
And then what we thought was rumors, possibly not even happening at first, has become reality. Urban Meyer, who the Chargers tried to pursue, but they couldn't pry him away from him. I thought Chargers would have been a better fit for Urban Meyer just because Justin Herbert already shown what he's been able to do, and I feel like there's a lot more better talent over there. But when it comes to making a bigger impact, Jacksonville is the place to do it. And this Trevor Lawrence and Urban Meyer duo, I think, is going to be a very interesting one. I don't know how much I would say how elite or like great it would be, but it is going to be an interesting duo here. But the main thing is, like, how are they going to draft now? Because you're obviously going to pick Trevor Lawrence now, but you don't know if, hey, Urban Meyer, coming out of college, a lot of those guys are big on offense. So do you think Jacksonville will still try to commit to their offensive line, or do you think they're going to try to make some splashes, beef up their defensive line to put alongside Josh Allen?
Yeah, for sure. You have to if you wanna help Trevor Lawrence. You got to back it up with a good defense and maybe get him another weapon or two, maybe a tight end, something like that he can rely on as a safety blanket. Because I don't really think they have a solid tight end on that team. I know they have a good young receiving core and James Robinson, so he has a couple good weapons to start out with. So I think this is going to be a good place for him to go. I'm so glad it's him instead of the Jets because the Jets just had nothing. I mean, at least you have some default settings on the Jaguars to work with as a young, talented quarterback.
Yeah, and speaking of the Jets, they finally did something good, or at least, well, we don't know. I said originally when I was going through my predictions, I said Saleh was going to go to Atlanta and Harbaugh was going to get brought from Michigan into Jets because I thought Harbaugh was going to be a better fit for the Jets. Well, Harbaugh ended up signing an extension with Michigan, and now Saleh is headed over there to New York, which means New York, your defensive problems might be getting fixed, or this could be Matt Patricia 2.0 all over again. I mean, we have seen so many defensive coordinators just not translate to being good defensive coaches. I think Robert Saleh has the motivation and the locker room presence over Matt Patricia, though, and I think this is a really good hiring for the New York Jets. You need to retire. You need to retain some of those big name guys that you have kind of developed on defense with Marcus May and Quinnen Williams. And I feel like this guy is going to be the perfect person to do that. So what do you think? Do you think this is going to be Matt Patricia 2.0, or do you think Robert Saleh is actually going to be very, very progressive for this New York Jets?
It could go either, but I mean, I like Salah. He is a really good locker room presence. You said he's always amped up on the sidelines with the 49ers. You see him. He compliments his team when they do good. He gets I think he's a good image to have as a coach, especially for a struggling team. They kind of need that boost of energy, and I think he's the right guy. Unlike what they had, so I think he's going to come in there and make as much of a positive impact as he possibly can because you can't really make too much of an impact on that Jets team right now, but you can build them up with confidence and start building the team up and maybe have a future.
Yeah, and I mean, it really is going to be interesting. The same thing with Urban Meyer. You got a new coach coming in. So are they going to continue to go with what some people have been saying, Penny Sala, or I can't remember exactly what his name is, but Osimile, I think that's how you pronounce his name. I don't know, but he's an offensive lineman out of Oregon. A lot of people have been saying that and just keep Sam Darnold. I think they should go Justin Fields. I don't think they will go Justin Fields. I think they will go Penny, but it really does depend on how the Jets organization see Justin Fields. I still have Justin Fields going to Atlanta. But yeah, that's pretty all the big head coaching hirings. I mean, we had the defensive coordinator job being switched out. Nolan is out. Dan Quinn is in. It's going to be very interesting to see how he's going to translate from a horrible head coaching tenure, in my opinion, to replace a horrible defensive coordinator tenure. I don't think it's the best signing. I want to hear what you got on this. Do you think he'll be better than he was over there in Atlanta, or do you think we're going to have some of that choke artist type of thing going for our defense?
I don't know. I just don't see him having that big of an impact on that defense because he did bad on defense for Atlanta these past couple of years. They've had no secondary. I mean, and then you go to a defense that's just as similar to the Falcons. I mean, to the Falcons, and then you have to just coordinate the Cowboys defense, which is no better than the
Yeah.
Falcons. So I mean, I just don't see if he can step it up, maybe because he's only focusing on defense now, maybe that'll help with his defensive, I don't know, mindset. But I guess just having to deal with the whole team, kind of, he couldn't focus on defense as much. So maybe
Yeah,
that'll help him going to the Cowboys.
Yeah, I think it's partially a talent problem here. I don't like some of the guys that are, especially interior linemen. I don't like our D tackles at all. Anton Woods is absolute trash. I do like Neville Gallimore. He's developing very well. And of course, I love Trayvon Diggs. He was one of the rookies I was excited that we got in the second round. He's actually really paid off for us this year. I've actually been really impressed with his production. He had 3 interceptions and he missed like 4 games with an ankle injury or something like that. So I'm very proud of what some guys have been able to step up and do. I feel like if we can go into this draft, I really want us to get our hands on Patrick Surtain the second, but Caleb Farley is what I'm looking into. We need to build this secondary, release some of those defensive linemen, save us some money, either stock up in the draft or just sign some veterans. I don't know if we're going to go back with Gerald McCoy or not. I mean, before the offseason, we said we were going to. I don't know how that's going to fare out, but it's going to be interesting to see how that situation unfolds. And the same thing goes for the Deshaun Watson situation. We got to dive into this. I got about 6 guys, or actually, no, 7 guys right here who I think Deshaun could go to. That's Miami, Carolina, San Francisco, the Pats, Bears, Broncos, and Colts. Colts probably the least likely here because I don't know if Rivers is going to come back or not. I just don't know if they have enough to make that trade. And Broncos, I've heard some reports saying that they are going to roll with Drew Lock for one more season. I don't think it's the right move. Lock doesn't look promising for me, and I do feel like pairing up Deshaun Watson with Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, and Noah Fant and Tim Patrick would be very, very good for them, as well as the Bears too. I think the Bears would be really good, but I just don't know how well their GM is going to just go into it because their GM is really bad. I do want to hear, who are your top contenders or the best fit for Deshaun?
My top three are the Patriots, the Bears, and the Dolphins. No specific order, really. I mean, all three of these teams I think would be the best fit for Deshaun. I like the Panthers too. I remember you said something about that on our last podcast that got corrupted. I really like, but I'll let you talk about that because I really like that. The Bears, I think, would be the most optimal position for him right now because they have Allen Robinson. They can re-sign him. He will resign if they get Deshaun Watson for sure. You got a lot of young receivers. You got David Montgomery coming up, and the defense is so good that this becomes a championship level team. Honestly, if you put an elite quarterback and replace Mitch Trubisky and all those quarterback troubles they've been having throughout the past few years, with a guy like Deshaun Watson, who is a generational talent and can definitely get a ring in a place like Chicago, to the Patriots, they'd have to bring in a weapon to kind of lure Deshaun Watson in because right now it's not looking good on offense for them right now. They need to draft Kyle Pitts if he falls to them, which I don't think he will, but if he does, that's the guy they need to get in the draft. That's who they need to target. Maybe even trade up to make sure that they get him. If they don't end up drafting a quarterback, which I don't know if they will or not, but the Pats look like a good destination for him with Belichick, a good defense with opt-outs returning, and then the Dolphins are. I think they're a similar team to the Pats. You don't have too many offensive weapons right now. You have a little bit of a quarterback struggle with Tua. I've heard some of the Dolphins players have been, I don't know, not too high on Tua. I don't like that at all that they're talking trash about him anonymously. I don't like that. That's gonna hurt his confidence as a rookie. But I mean, you kind of you would have to ship off Tua and maybe a first and a second rounder or something like that to get Deshaun Watson. But he would fit right into that offense and probably put them on top of the AFC East. If Josh Allen, it would be a fight between him and Josh Allen for the AFC East. But I think that would be a very interesting division if he went to either one of those teams.
That would be a quarterback battle like no other, really,
Yeah.
especially interdivisional. But yeah, I'm kind of on you with the same thing about Tua. I still think Miami should stay with Tua. Tua is still, I mean, don't forget, people were tanking for Tua before Joe Burrow became a thing. I mean, Tua got that injury, but I still feel like Tua Tagovailoa will be a very good quarterback, especially for Miami. I mean, hell, he helped lead them to a 10-6 season. How in the hell could you be mad about that? I don't understand it. Has he shown some bad things? Yeah, he's a rookie. He's got a lot to develop on. And I do feel like switching out the quarterbacks with Fitzpatrick and going in there, some people say it helps him. I don't think it helps him at all. But this definitely will not help him, just shipping him off to Houston and having him deal with whatever the hell whole front office they got over there. It is just horrendous. But like you said, I did bring up an interesting point about Carolina, and I am going to continue to hit on that because I feel like this should be the top runner for Deshaun because listen to this offense. CMC, Deshaun, DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, who just had a breakout season, and Curtis Samuel coming in whenever you can. Get yourself a good tight end in the draft, something you can help develop, and you got a top 5 offense in the league. Even without the tight end, I still feel like that's a top 5 offense in this league. The fact that there could quite possibly be a running back, quarterback, wide receiver duo that is as deadly as that, and I haven't even heard Carolina pursuing them that hard, would be just beyond me, the fact that they're just not all over this situation. But I do feel like Deshaun Watson will become a San Francisco 49er. I don't like Jimmy G, especially for the future. Has he won them games? Yeah, but he's not Deshaun Watson. And I feel like if Deshaun were to come in, they would be a Super Bowl contending team because they just lost the heart of their defense. They're not going to have that same fire, I feel like, but they still have the talent. And I feel like Deshaun coming into San Francisco would be huge for their franchise. It would put them in Super Bowl contention for years as long as he's there. And then same thing with the Bears. I agree with you totally on that. Their offense is very bright. Darnell Mooney has a very bright future. Anthony Miller, I feel like, is a serviceable option. And David Montgomery has completely broken out. And you can't forget about Allen Robinson if he even goes there. But another name I kind of have forgot about is the Detroit Lions. If the Detroit Lions manage to trade for Deshaun Watson, they're getting Marvin Jones and Kenny Golladay back. And that's an even better, that's still a good wide receiver core. I mean, Marvin Jones put up great numbers when Kenny Golladay wasn't there, and put them with Deshaun Watson. I feel like it'll be great. We don't even know what's going to go on with Matt Stafford over there, but I do feel like Deshaun will be heading over to San Francisco. But if Carolina does dip their toes in the pool, like I think they should, Carolina will become my favorite just because of how good that offense could potentially be. But that's all for this week. Let's roll right into our second round predictions for the playoffs, starting off with Baltimore versus Buffalo. This is a very interesting matchup for me, so I do want to hear what you have to say on this first.
I'm going to stick with my gut from the beginning. I'm going to take Buffalo here in a 3-point game, probably like a 30-27, something like that. It's going to be a high-scoring bout, I think, because Buffalo's defense isn't the best, and they're going to have to face against Lamar Jackson. Buffalo's run game has not been great at all this year, and you're facing the best running offense in the league, basically. And then the Ravens have such a good defense, but it's going to be overpowered by Josh Allen and this high-powered offense. So I think this is going to be a shootout, in my opinion. Could go either way, though. I mean, this is really tough. I think the Ravens definitely had just as much of a chance to win this, but I'm giving the slight edge to the Bills in a very close game.
This is a very hard one to think about because you got talent on the defense, but they haven't always played the best. But I saw how good this Baltimore rush game was, and I didn't think it would be this good. Hell, I had Tennessee beating Baltimore. And Baltimore just played a great game. Their defense played phenomenal. And if you flash back to that Kansas City Chiefs game of a few weeks back, Clyde Edwards-Helaire had a phenomenal game on the ground. Compare that with the greatest rushing game in the league. I feel like in the past 5 years, I haven't seen a rushing attack like this from a single team. Put that against a team that let Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who I feel like is an even a huge weapon when it comes to the amount of volume that those other guys get. He isn't the biggest weapon in the league. I feel like Baltimore is going to come away with this game, is going to advance to the AFC Championship. Their defense is elite. Marcus Peters and Marlon Humphrey have been the greatest cornerback duo in the league this year, and I feel like that's going to continue to translate here. I feel like they're going to give Josh Allen some troubles. He's playing phenomenal, but it really only takes one momentum shift. And Baltimore proved that against Tennessee, and I feel like their rushing attack is just going to be too much for Buffalo to handle. And then going into Cleveland versus Kansas City, if we talk about Cleveland next week going up against Baltimore or Buffalo in your case, I will flip my shit because I want to see Cleveland win this game so much. But Kansas City, I got to go with Kansas City here.
All right, well, Kansas City is 10-point favors in the betting odds. I just checked it this morning. I don't think it's going to be that much of a blowout, honestly. I think Kansas City's going to win this, but I don't know if it's going to be by more than 10 points. I think the Browns have enough fight in them. They know this is an opportunity that they'll only get a couple of times because of their organization. So, I mean, I think that they're going to come in there firing. They might even go up early. But the Chiefs are going to come out in the second half and just start killing them, in my opinion. There's no way Mahomes loses this game. If we are saying next week, oh, we predicted this wrong, then that's going to be crazy. The Browns have a chance to go to the Super Bowl if that happens, which I never thought I'd be talking about, where the Browns are in the playoffs and the Patriots aren't. So we'll see what's happening.
That's perfect. That's the perfect sentence to describe 2020. Yeah. I mean, it's the greatest thing I've ever heard. But Tampa Bay versus New Orleans is probably the best matchup here. I feel like out of all these guys, it's the quarterback matchup everyone's going to be talking about. Brady versus Breeze, probably for the last time ever. And I feel like Breeze is going to get the best of Brady here. Yeah, Tampa Bay's offense is really good, but I mean, New Orleans has come out on top every single time. Alvin Kamara's looked fantastic. I mean, ever since that Christmas game, I can't believe I can't believe I didn't have him in the top 5. But dude, he's not even going to be close to what I had him on last week. I mean, last year's running back rankings. But this New Orleans team is just great, and now Michael Thomas is back, and it's going to be even better for New Orleans. And I feel like New Orleans is going to get their shot at a Super Bowl here before facing up against a very tough opponent either way, whoever comes out of that Green Bay or Los Angeles game.
You know what? Our last podcast, I got corrupted. I said the Bucs were going to win this game. I've been thinking about this a lot. I'm changing my prediction. I think the Saints are going to win this game. I'm picking against my team right now. I mean, it's not my team, but it's my favorite to go to the Super Bowl from the beginning. I said that they would go to the Super Bowl, but my prediction has changed. I think the Saints are going to win this. The Saints just do the right things that the Bucs struggle with. You know what I mean? Like they have the good pass rush. Alex Kappa is now out, one of their star linemen for the Buccaneers. So that is going to hurt them a lot facing against that fierce D-line in the Saints. I think they're going to get to Brady, cause him trouble. This is going to be a close game, though, but I don't know. I'm giving it to the Saints. I'm trying not to be biased on this show as much as I can. I know I've seemed like in the past, but right here, my gut's telling me that the Saints are going to win this ball game.
All right, and then moving on to Los Angeles versus Green Bay. Well, I'm going to go with Joey's ideology here. I'm going to have the MVP and who I think is going to win the Super Bowl advance here against Los Angeles. I feel like Los Angeles, I really wouldn't be surprised if Los Angeles came out on top here. They've got a very strong defense. And Los Angeles is definitely going to give them a run for their money, especially after how good that Cam Akers game was and how piss poor this Green Bay rushing defense has been all year. I'm still going to give the edge to Green Bay because Aaron Rodgers, same thing with Josh Allen. It's Aaron Rodgers. He's going to come out firing probably, get a lead, and then just somehow manage to Rams will probably adjust, but I still feel like A-Rod is going to continue to somewhat keep that lead distant. And this Green Bay team is going to advance to the NFC Championship, face off against New Orleans.
I think the Rams are going to win this game. I said it last time, and I'm saying it again. I'm confident in the Rams right now. I think everything matches up perfectly in this game for the Rams. Their defense has been outstanding, and we have a Jalen Ramsey versus Devontae Adams matchup, which I'm very excited to watch. That's number one versus number one right now. That's all you can say. But something tells me the Rams are going to win this game. I called it here first. They're going to take down the number one seed as one of the lower seeds. I think they're on a hot streak right now. They're angry. They're ready to come in here and make some noise. I got the Rams winning this game.
I wouldn't mind seeing the Rams win this game. It would just make my prediction. It would just explode my prediction. But yeah, I mean, this Rams defense is probably going to be the only thing that's going to carry them there. That and Cam Akers, because I don't know how healthy Jared Goff is. If Jared Goff's hand is feeling better, then yeah, maybe I would probably give the Rams a lot better chance here. But it really is going to see how Jared Goff comes throughout the weekend, because that's probably going to be the biggest factor in my opinion. But guys, thank you for watching this week. We are sorry for the upload being a little bit late, but I literally have nothing I can do against it. So I'm still going to be putting this out there. But we had a lot to talk about this week, a very exciting week of football, and hopefully we get to come back next week and we get to dive into some huge stories. If Deshaun Watson's thing gets any further, I'll be very, very interested. But sooner or later, it's going to start becoming that time where we're going to be talking about nothing but the draft, and that will have its own episode. That will come eventually. But for now, it's just playoffs, and hopefully we have a fun week of playoffs here ahead of us. But thank you guys for watching. Make sure you are subscribed, hit that notification bell, like the video, and we'll see you next week. Peace.